Across Gaza, the homes of at least 7 Hamas military officials were hit in massive explosions, regardless of who may have been inside. Frantically, they dug for survivors, but no one could have come out of this alive. A senior Hamas official, Mohammed Dalu, and his entire family of 10 were killed today.
Sure. If Israel keep doing this with civilians, you will see more people die.
Israel is targeting Hamas officials it accuses of hiding amongst civilians. But the number of civilians, particularly children, being killed or injured in the airstrikes enrages Palestinian feelings even more. Israel also hit 2 buildings where international and local media have their offices. One journalist had his leg blown off. Another justifiable attack, said Israel, because Hamas was using communication antennae on the roofs. No one knows when this will end, but more people were killed today than on any other day of this short, brutal conflict.
The BBC's Wara Davis. Let's talk now quickly to the human rights activist and English lecturer at the University of Al-Aqsa, Adi Momek, who's in the Gaza Strip this morning. A very good morning to you, Adi. I thank you for your time. Please tell me about the situation on the ground this morning.
Well, right now it's I've not heard an explosion for about an hour, so it's a little bit quieter. But there's been some horrific attacks throughout the night. From what I understand, there's been another 11 killed overnight, and many children included. Altogether now we're looking at 84 Palestinians have been killed, 25 children and 10 women, and 250 children among the 700 injured. And this is we've just witnessed sort of continuous bombardment of a civilian population. It's a civilian population of which over half are children. Right. And we're seeing the results of this by the amount of children that we're seeing being pulled out of the rubble. I was in Nasser Street yesterday, and there was a huge bomb that was that had hit a civilian home, and they dragged out 8 bodies before, which 4 were children. While we were there, they dragged out another body. It was a 4-story building, so it was in a state of it was just mass.
But Eddie, the Israelis have been telling us that they are targeting militants and that they've told civilians to move away from the targeted areas.
Well, this has been completely refuted by all that were there, and this is, the evidence of which is that there's been houses full of civilians that were bombed. Generally, if you're told to leave and you're about to be bombed, you leave a house. So there's been from witnesses and from people who have survived, there have been lots of reports of just complete targeting of the house. That house was definitely hit without being warned. The same in Jabalia, there was 30 people that were injured. How on earth it was just injuries, I don't know. But again, lots of children. And of course, what we're speaking to the hospitals there, and they're saying that the injuries are critical. Okay. They are serious injuries that often require 6 different kinds of operation, which are, of course, the Shifa Hospital, which is the main one in Gaza City, and all the hospitals are, they've said they're at breaking point. They are severely deprived of lots of medications, supplies, anesthetics. Okay. They're having to ship out a lot of the intensive care, people on intensive care, and also they need ventilation machines. They need many different important things, particularly for the kind of seriousness of the injuries.
All right, Eddie, a moment. All right, let me thank you very much, and maybe you can just stand by, because on the other side, I'm going to talk to Haaretz online senior editor Bradley Burston, who is in Jerusalem for us this morning. A very good morning to you, Bradley. But are you surprised that Israel has taken this step, given the hundreds of rockets that are pounding the southern parts of Israel, Ashkelon and other parts which are in the south?
Well, you'd have to say that Israel has changed its methods, modified its methods of carrying out warfare in Gaza to some degree, and probably because of the UN-sponsored Goldstone report, which severely criticized both Israel and Hamas for what they call the appearance of war crimes in the 2008 and 2009 cast lead operation in which Israel actually invaded with ground forces. They may do that again. I think what you're seeing here is an attempt by Israel to modify its approach, but clearly in the last few days they've stepped up the intensification of bombing, and it's also true that Hamas gunners have to some degree reached out and tried to hit targets like Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, and probably for the same reason, that they suspect that the Egyptian and UN and U.S. and international mediated ceasefire may be coming into play within a few days. Ironically, the prospect of a ceasefire tends to raise the level of military action, and that certainly raises the ratio of civilian casualties.
But Bradley, let me again take you before the 6 days that we've witnessed now. I'll take you just before that, because again the Israelis are saying to us that what country can withstand the kind of pounding that we have been receiving from Hamas, from the Gaza Strip into the southern parts of Israel, and that we needed to act on the basis of that. Is that a justified reason in your view?
Well, it's the problem, I think, is the tremendous disconnect between the way Gazans see the conflict and the way Israelis see the conflict. What you heard from the human rights activists is undoubtedly true. At the same time, you have a situation where 1,000 rockets have been shot into Israel, and they're shot at civilian targets, and there is a tremendous amount of perhaps good fortune in the fact that the difference in civilian casualties between the Gaza side and the Israeli side has been so markedly weighted toward the Gazans. But the fact is that 1,000 rockets with dynamite in their warheads are going to have an effect, and people don't want to be the one person who is unlucky.